Hi guys. Welcome back to Rts Share Tea, where respiratory therapists live out loud. With me, your host, Linda Frott, Thee Asthma Lady. Yes. Thank you so much for everybody coming back. Thank you to anybody new. I'm super excited about today's episode. Finally, I have a guest co-host that I have been promising for quite some time now. I have with me today, super excited to have him, JJ, the respiratory therapist, the RT. And he's basically going to be talking about what he does. And this is in the spirit of RTpreneurs. So we are talking to respiratory therapists who have their own business or who have side hustles that make them, money or just keep them happy and with the spirit of positivity. All right, guys. So to kick this off, I'm going to introduce to you guys JJ, the RT, and he's going to let us know what he does and how he started and what sparked his interest in his business. Hi, JJ. Thank you so much.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me. I truly appreciate this opportunity because not every day do you get a phone call or an email that says, "Hey, JJ, I saw you on YouTube and we have a like mind. Let's connect." And I was really excited from getting that email and us able to have a conversation a couple of weeks back and then being able to set this up. So thank you.
Thank you, JJ.
Absolutely. So a little bit about me. Been a respiratory therapist for almost 15 years. And I lived in West Texas. I have been a traveling respiratory therapist. I just started a new job in education. I'm working at a community college down in South Texas. And somewhere along the way, I got this crazy idea to be some sort of a positive influence for for other respiratory therapists and other clinicians, really. And it really stemmed from me overcoming some of my own barriers.
Right.
I couldn't get out of my own way whenever I was a young respiratory therapist. And that piece, I don't want others to make the same mistakes that I did.
Right.
So a lot of times what I do is just try to share a message or an idea or a concept that gets the wheels turning, but gets the wheels turning to motivate those to just simply do better, right? Just be better, right?
Right.
I have a t-shirt. Oh, so part of the business is a little bit of a swag, right? Gotta have a little swag with what you do. And one of the shirts that I have, it says, better over bitter, and it's simply a line, right? It says better over bitter. So it's a change of one letter, a change of a little bit of a mindset that can completely enhance the trajectory of where you're trying to go.
That's great. I just want to explain to folk how I found you. And so basically I was on Instagram. So just for my listeners who listen to me often, I'm not that great with the social media stuff, but once I started, I was like, okay, let me, get my friends and follow folks that are doing similar things. So I see JJ the RT. I'm like, oh, okay, this is a respiratory therapist who's doing things. Let me see what he does. So I went and I saw that JJ had, something on YouTube. So I went to check it out. And it was pretty much a seminar or, webinar on leadership. And so I listened to it and I was like, this guy knows what he's talking about. I was like, this is what I'm talking about as far as being a respiratory therapist and being in leadership, where we do not have a playbook. And you were really kind of just breaking down what somebody would need or just how to navigate through that process of becoming a leader or being in the leadership role, and then just being able to influence those that the person is leading. So I was like, I have to get to know more about JJ the RT.
Yes, yes.
Mhm.
So thank you again for that, because that's the whole idea behind it is I'm trying to produce or deliver some content that maybe sparks a conversation between respiratory therapists, between clinicians.
Yeah.
Like I said, I had to get out of my own way because I knew very little about leadership concepts. Very early, like as a youth, I played sports. I was typically a team captain, and those types of leadership roles I had growing up. But a lot of what I did and what I said was do it my way or get out of the way, and that doesn't work.
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't
Uh,
work.
yeah, I know that.
I had to learn that one the hard way. And so there was a really, so I say that I'm a recovered AA, meaning an arrogant a-hole. I'm a recovered arrogant a-hole. And so in order to do that, I had to just simply change my decisions, right? I had to take over some of I had to unlearn some of the things that I learned very early as an adolescent,
Hmm.
relearn something through some content and some content on Instagram or YouTube, whatever it was. Now
Right.
TikTok too, right? TikTok's
I
got all
know.
kinds of stuff.
Ah, TikTok.
I know it can be a trap, but it can be so good too.
Ah, yeah,
Um,
that's another episode for me.
but so I kind of say those social medias can be a tool,
Right.
right? It's like a hammer, right? You can use a hammer to build monuments and towers and beautiful like elements that we see, structures every day, but it can also cause a lot of destruction too,
Yeah.
right? So these social media outlets are a form of a tool just the same way. So the way you use it definitely dictates how you kind of perceive those outlets.
Right. I I totally agree. And the content definitely needs to be out there as far as in relations to leadership. Like we were discussing before we jumped on this platform, usually, especially in the RT profession, folks have a hard time transitioning into those positions where it could be someone that's been an amazing RT for a long time, and they're like, okay, I deserve to be the manager or the supervisor or the director. But yet, if you do not have some of the essential skills, if you don't have that strong foundation, you might be setting yourself up for failure if folks don't take you serious. And like we were talking about things like time management, emotional intelligence, just being empathetic with folks, and just understanding how to deal with people. These are things that folks, not everyone has, and stuff like yours, they can utilize as definitely as a resource to get them to where they want to be. Right.
Yes, yes, I totally agree. When we were talking before, we talked about, people that earn, right? We'll go air quotes with earn a leadership position because they're a really good clinician or
Right.
they've been there the longest, right?
Correct.
And I was once told by a nursing researcher, Dr. Carol Barnes, one time that's called the Peter rule. Peter just gets put into these positions because they're good at something else, but not necessarily good for the
The
position
actual position.
that they're looking for, that they're looking to fill. So, and it depends. Like sometimes it depends on how long you've been there,
Right.
but what are you doing with that time,
Right.
right?
Exactly.
If
How do
I
you
if
invest
I have
in
15
people?
years of experience, but I've repeated that first year out of school 15 times, do I really have that much growth?
Right.
Or have I transformed myself over 15 years to exponentially, grow from that clinician that comes out of school?
Mm-hmm. I totally agree. Man, you making a lot of sense, AJ. Uh, Okay. So yeah. So what were your challenges in the beginning of your business or just starting? What were your barriers? What was
So
the hurdle, the hard part? Or are you still in the hard part?
so I would say the hard part, and it's just like anything, right? You
Mhm.
have to stick with it. I would post some content, and we all do it. We don't do it for the likes, but we do it so that we can share that with somebody out there,
Yes,
somebody that will hear it.
right.
And
Amen.
on my platforms, I don't have tens of thousands. I don't have thousands of followers,
Right.
but I still try to put out the content. So I think getting over the mental struggle of,
Right.
it's not for the likes, it's not for the views, it's not for the followers,
Right.
right? That was probably the hardest thing to overcome, just to know that, just be self efficient and self secure in that, hey, what I'm doing is going to have a launching pad and a well, it's going to have a landing pad first, so then it can ultimately launch at some point.
JJ, we the same person. I was like,
Yeah, we may be
that's
related.
why I'm like, I gotta talk to this guy because we are the same.
Yes.
We're on opposite sides of,
Hmm.
of America. I'm on
Hmm.
the east, you're on the west,
Yep.
but it's yeah, we are the same because I said the same thing. I'm like, listen, if one person hears my content and it changes their lives or inspires them or anything like that, I'm happy. I'm just one of those people. Like I've never been somebody that like I had to be popular for it to mean something. So
Hmm.
um yeah, because when it comes to like, for me, when it comes to asthma and asthma awareness, asthma education, I do this all day. This is what I do.
Hmm.
And for me, um, I'm passionate about it because, I had somebody, I had a child that died in my, in one of my shifts. And the story is it was because of the grandmother did not know what she
Mm.
did not know. And this
Mm.
hurt me. And I'm like, you know what? If I can help one family not experience that, I've done my job. I'm happy. So here I
Absolutely.
am today. And that's my real story.
So
So
that's your why, and that
right,
drives you,
exactly.
right?
You have to have
So
that.
you have to have that why, and you have to have
Mhm.
that drive. And sometimes it takes a little bit to figure that out, to figure
Right.
out your why.
Right.
And mine was, I simply didn't want to be that AA
Hmm.
person anymore, right? I had abandoned so many of my close friends because of this attitude.
Right.
And it took a jarring experience of somebody exiting my life that I really cared for to swing the pendulum the other way.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
um, yeah, we all have a why, and we just need to hang on to it.
There you go. And persistence is the key when it comes to doing this type of work. That's what,
Correct.
and here we are today, right?
Absolutely.
JJ, I knew it.
Hmm.
I knew it. I knew it. Okay, let me see. So, what's your talent? What is that talent that you feel that makes you shine, like to do something like this? Like what? I mean, so I'll give you an example. For me, like I don't feel like I'm the brightest crayon in the box,
Okay.
but I can, for the most part, execute a plan, whether I have everything or not. It's like I'm very resourceful with stuff I already have, right?
Right.
So that's kind of like my talent, just like executing the plan. So what is yours?
So I think it may be this naive inability to say no, right? I'll just say yes to anything,
Oh, oh,
kind
okay.
of.
Well, thank you.
And it gives me a lot of,
Opportunity.
range with the things that I can do. Now
Mhm.
I do know my limitations. Pediatrics is a limitation of mine, not because I don't enjoy them, it's because I get so attached to them. And if I
Oh.
were to go through an experience similar to you,
Mm.
I don't think I would
Right.
be able to hang on to my why anymore. So I tend, just knowing myself, to play in the adult world. But for the most part, I'm gonna say yes to so many different things, and I think that is something that has truly helped me. Like somebody, like, why don't you start a YouTube page?
Mm-hmm.
No, oh yeah, let's try that.
Right. Right.
There's a little bit of deliberation in the between the ears, but ultimately it ends up being a yes. And
Go for it.
I think for the next generation, and those of us that get into a leadership role, we have a responsibility to give the next generation an opportunity and just say yes to something. They
Right.
say, hey, JJ, I think I'm ready for X,
Right.
right? And they give you a good reason to why they're ready. Give them a shot.
Right.
Like, just give them a shot. And
And
I can speak from experience where I was told no so much.
oh yeah.
You've been there before. I think we've all been there before, where you're like, hey, I think I want to, let's start an airway team. We tried that about 10, 15 years ago, and these were some of our challenges.
Right. Right. It
And
gets
it's like,
shut down.
but that was a different time. Now we have a different crew. We can do some things that are a little bit, you've got staff that are willing to be on call or whatever it may be. And that I think opens up more doors for the next generation.
Oh, I totally agree. It's a fact, and you create opportunities for yourself. That's what it
Yes.
is. I for some reason I don't want to say this out loud, I guess, but I will. I'm never scared to lose my job or a job because I know I feel like I create my own opportunities. I don't know, things kind of just end up, and it's because I think similarly. It's like, you know what? Let me just say yes
Right.
and we'll figure it out from there.
Mhm.
And that's been working in my favor. So
Yes.
I have to agree.
So say
Uh,
yes to things.
right, 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 right. With boundaries, of
Oh,
course.
absolutely.
Gotta make time for yourself. I do have podcasts on episodes on self-care. I'm one of those. I do get
Okay.
carried
Good.
away and we do burn out. So
Absolutely.
yes, we do have to
Absolutely. There
have
are
our
boundaries.
correct. We have to have our boundaries with the saying yes. But okay, JJ. And so okay, so what advice would you have for any RTs out there that's like, I have an idea, but they're scared or they're nervous. What will my coworkers think? What will my friends or family think? Like what advice would you give someone that's in that phase of their career?
Yeah, I would say try bouncing it off some folks. Try getting some feedback from your inner circle, right?
Mhm,
There's so much collaboration. If you think about the hospital, right? And you do interdisciplinary rounding or
mhm,
multidisciplinary rounding, or I've even heard it as transdisciplinary rounding, right? So there's all these different names for the exact same thing,
mhm,
but we're trying to figure out what's the best way to care for this patient. And you bring in all of these specialties, right?
mhm.
And they can help you think about things that you may not have.
Right.
So I would say collaboration is one of those big, big things that a lot of people are afraid of doing because they don't want their idea taken from them,
Right.
right?
Right.
But
It's
but
that's right.
I mean,
I
look
mean,
at look at what we're doing right now.
we're doing
We
like the
have a
same thing.
similar platform,
And
and
I'm learning from you. I mean, it this works.
there should be no fear of somebody taking your idea, right, or making their business off of your idea. I think collaboration and having a really sound inner circle um, is a must when it comes
Mhm.
to being, outside the box thinking. I'm not sure how familiar you are with the rap game, but in West Coast, okay, Nipsey Hussle, the
Oh,
late
yeah,
Nipsey
Nipsey,
Hussle,
I
okay,
know. Mm-hmm.
yes, he has a quote that says, if you look at your inner circle and you don't get inspired,
Mm.
you don't have a circle, you have a cage.
Mm-hmm. Look at
So I would
you.
truly, truly say, like, look at your inner circle, look at people who are doing what you're doing and reach out to them,
Right.
talk to them.
Understood.
Because if you really think about it, how many like truly new ideas are out there?
Right. That's a
I
fact.
don't, I mean, so many things have already been done
Right.
and people have,
Repackage,
yeah,
redone,
absolutely.
remix.
So reach out to the folks that are really good at it.
Right.
And I bet
I
you
agree.
they'll be willing to help you.
I agree. I agree. And I think we're look at us. we I like
Absolutely.
it's just crazy. Yeah. But we JJ,
I'm
don't
excited about this.
I
This
got
is
some
a great
plans.
opportunity. I'm truly again thankful and blessed that this thing has come to fruition after a couple of weeks of hey, when are we gonna make this happen? But
Right.
this I'm so
Busy
excited that it
lives.
is because I think that this needs to happen more.
Right. I
This needs to
agree.
happen more. And reaching out to maybe what if Robert Chatburn were to get on one of these? Actually, I saw him and Theme Hess on a YouTube video, and they were talking about the viability of the RT as a profession moving forward. And
Okay.
they just spent 10, 15 minutes just talking on a Zoom
Oh,
back and forth.
okay.
And I think more of this needs to happen. There needs to be more connection, more collaboration, so
Right.
that there's more confidence to do this, right?
Exactly.
And I think another thing that will do is it will get to the point to where we limit or completely abolish complacency at the bedside.
Right. I agree, JJ. Wow. Well, this has been amazing. And I just, you know what? I want to give you an opportunity to, plug anything that you're doing, anything you got coming up. I know you just had came off a huge event. And let us know what's going on. Spill
Yes.
the tea.
So you can reach me at any one of my socials, JJ the RT. That's on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. Go see some of my content. Like I said, I've been moving to a new career. And so I've kind of been limited with the amount of content that I've been able to do recently, but those are going to start coming out again. Like you said, I did just come back from an event this weekend. That event was the State Society for Respiratory Therapists here in Texas.
Nice.
And I was lucky enough to do two presentations while I was there. One of them, which was a keynote. Full disclosure, right? I'm a real person. I forgot my first line in my presentation, and I was like, "Oh my goodness, I need my notes." So I had to like step away from the front of the room, go look at my iPad, and I was like, "Okay, now we can go."
It happens, JJ. Oh,
It does.
I
It
got it.
does.
I have my first presentation where I was speaking to. I had the light pointer. And
Hmm.
I was so nervous. The pointer got off the presentation and was in someone's face. It was that. That was
Oh
the
yeah.
first one.
Oh
And but
yeah.
I've gotten better.
Yeah.
Way better.
Yes.
But it happens. Oh yeah.
Yes. So
Oh,
so those presentations that you see all the time, there are humans
right.
presenting, right? So just know that you do have it within you to do that. So
You
I would
do it.
encourage you, if you
Love it.
have a voice.
Exactly. Exactly. Oh my gosh, JJ. Thank you so much for doing this. I appreciate your time. And folks out here, once again, thank you for listening. I just hope that you learned something here today. I hope that you were inspired. Whether you're in a respiratory therapist or one in progress, or if you're thinking about the profession at all, we just want you to see how flexible the profession is, and you can do other things with passion, and just like myself and JJ here, and to inspire other people. So thank you so much, guys. Really appreciate you. And remember, RT Share Tea is here every Wednesday on Google Podcasts and every Thursday on YouTube. See, even me, I have to remember this stuff. And guys, I just want to say, remember to invest in yourself and to only compete with yesterday's version of you. All right, guys. Bye.
Bye. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much.